The day I turned 18. My stepfather handed me a black trash bag. It wasn't a birthday gift. It contained everything I owned, my clothes, a few books, one old photo of my mother. Then he opened the front door, looked me in the eyes, and said, "You're an adult now. You have 1 hour to leave." I looked at my mother. She was crying, but she didn't say a word. I picked up the bag, walked out of the only home I'd ever known. I didn't beg, I didn't argue. I made one silent promise one day. I'd build a life no one could take from me. 10 years later, someone knocked on my front door. When I opened it, the man standing there was the same stepfather who had thrown me out, only this time he wasn't there to order me to leave. He was there to ask for my help. "My name is Mason Carter. I lost my father when I was 7 for several years. It was just my mother and me. We didn't have much money, but we had peace. When I was 12, my mother married Victor Hayes. At first, he acted kind. He bought me a bicycle, took us out for dinner, told everyone Mason is like my own son. But after the wedding, everything changed. The smiles disappeared. The criticism began if I forgot to wash one plate. He called me lazy if I got a B instead of an A. He called me a disappointment. Nothing I did was ever enough. When I turned 16, Victor stopped buying my school supplies. "If you want something, earn it." So I worked after school. I stocked shelves at a grocery store, delivered newspapers on weekends, saved every dollar I could, not because I wanted extra money, because I knew one day I'd probably need it. My mother noticed. She secretly slipped $20 into my backpack sometimes. When Victor found out, he became furious, making him weak. Needs to learn life isn't free. She never argued, she simply cried when he wasn't looking. On my 18th birthday, I thought things might finally improve. Instead, Victor came home carrying a box. He dumped my belongings into a black trash bag, then tossed it at my feet. "Happy birthday." I thought he was joking. He wasn't. "You said once I turned 18, be responsible for myself. Congratulations, today's the day." My mother begged him, "Please, just graduated. Him stay until college." Victor shook his head. "No, he'll never become a man if we keep rescuing him." I looked at my mother. She couldn't even meet my eyes. I hugged her, picked up the bag and walked away. That night, I slept on a park bench. The next morning, I started looking for work. Life wasn't easy. I washed dishes in a small restaurant, worked construction during the day, studied online at night. Some days, I ate one meal. Some weeks, I barely slept, but every paycheck reminded me I was moving forward. 5 years later, I earned a business degree. 3 years after that, I started a home renovation company with a friend. Our first year was difficult, our second year, better. By the 5th year, we had over 40 employees. Eventually, I bought a beautiful house, not because I wanted to prove Victor wrong, because I had finally built the life I'd dreamed about. My mother quietly kept in touch over the years. She visited when Victor wasn't home. Every visit ended the same way: "I'm proud of you." Those words meant more than any paycheck. Then one rainy Saturday morning, the doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone. When I opened the door, a tired man stood there. His hair had turned grey, his shoulders were bent. For a moment, I didn't recognize him. Then he spoke. "Mason, it's me, Victor, the man who had thrown me out 10 years earlier." He looked at the house behind me, then quietly asked, "Can we talk?" I stood there for several seconds. Neither of us spoke. The man standing in front of me looked nothing like the confident person who had thrown me out 10 years earlier. His expensive suits were gone. His hands shook slightly. He looked tired, older, defeated. Finally, I stepped aside. "You have 5 minutes. Victor quietly nodded. "Thank you." He walked into my living room. His eyes moved around the house, the family photos, the bookshelf, the awards from my company. He stopped in front of one framed picture. It was my team standing in front of our newest office building. "You built all this?" I answered calmly. "Yes." He slowly sat down. For the first time in my life, he looked uncomfortable around me. After a long silence, he finally spoke. "I lost everything." I didn't respond. He continued. 3 years ago, my construction company started losing contracts. I made some bad investments. I borrowed money to keep the business alive. Only made things worse." I quietly listened. Bank took the office, then the house. I sold almost everything trying to pay my debts. He lowered his head. "Never thought it would end like this." For a moment, neither of us said anything. Then I asked the question I'd carried for 10 years. "Why did you really throw me out?" Victor looked at the floor. "I told myself it would make you stronger." I shook my head. "No, that's the excuse you told everyone. I'm asking for the truth." He remained silent. Then, very quietly, he admitted it. "I was jealous." I frowned, nodded. "Your mother loved you more than anyone. Every time she smiled at you, felt like I came second. I convinced myself that if you left, finally become a normal family." He paused, "But instead, I destroyed it." I stared at him. For years, I'd wondered what I'd done wrong. The answer was nothing. It had never been about me. Victor continued. "The day you left, your mother never forgave me. Stayed because she didn't have anywhere else to go. Our marriage was never the same." My heart sank. "How is Mom?" Victor looked away. "She's sick." Those 2 words hit me harder than anything else he'd said. What happened? Last year, she was diagnosed with heart disease. Needs surgery. I immediately reached for my phone. Why didn't she tell me? Victor sighed. Because she didn't want you worrying. Because she didn't want you helping me. I called her, she answered after the second ring. Mason, Mom, why didn't you tell me? She became quiet. I knew he'd come to you. I asked him not to. I closed my eyes. Coming to see you, she whispered. I've missed you. Missed you too. After the call ended, I looked back at Victor. Is that why you're here? He nodded slowly. I can't afford the surgery. Asked everyone I know. No one can help. He swallowed hard. So, I came to the one person I never deserved to ask. He reached into his worn jacket, pulled out a folded envelope. Inside were hospital papers, treatment estimates, medical reports. Everything was real. Victor looked at me with tears in his eyes. I know I have no right to ask. I know what I did. If you tell me to leave, understand, your mother, she deserves another chance. I looked at the papers, then at the man sitting across from me. 10 years earlier, he had handed me a trash bag. Sent me into the world with nothing. Now, life had brought him to my door with nothing. The room was completely silent. Finally, I stood up. Victor slowly looked at me, waiting for my answer. I looked at Victor for a long moment, then I quietly said, I'm paying for Mom's surgery. Relief filled his face. He stood up. Thank you. I raised my hand. I'm doing it for her. For you. He slowly nodded. I understand. The next morning, I met my mother at the hospital. The moment she saw me, she burst into tears. She hugged me tighter than she ever had before. Never wanted you to find out like this. I smiled. You spent my whole childhood protecting me. It's my turn now. Surgery was scheduled for the following week. I made sure she had the best surgeon available, the best hospital room, the best care. I didn't think twice about the cost, because no amount of money could repay everything she'd sacrificed for me. Victor stayed quietly in the waiting room. He barely spoke. For the first time, he wasn't trying to control anything. He was simply hopping. Several hours later, the surgeon walked out. Operation was successful. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Victor covered his face with both hands and cried. A few days later, Mom was recovering well. One afternoon, she asked me to sit beside her. Mason carried guilt for 10 years. I looked at her. I should have stopped him. I should have walked out with you. Tears filled her eyes. I failed you. I gently held her hand. No, you didn't fail me. You were trapped. Even after I left, you never stopped loving me. She smiled through her tears. Always been proud of you. Those words meant more than any success I'd ever achieved. A week later, Victor asked if we could talk. We sat outside the hospital. Neither of us spoke for a while. Finally, he reached into his pocket. He placed an old house key on the bench between us. I recognized it immediately. It was the key to the house he'd thrown me out of. I kept this all these years. I don't know why. Maybe because I could never forget that day. He looked at me. I spent 10 years blaming bad luck, economy, my business partners. The truth is, I destroyed my own life. The day I threw you out, I lost the respect of the only two people who truly loved me. He wiped away a tear. I can't change the past. I can't ask you to forgive me. I needed to tell you the truth. I looked at him quietly, then I said, I don't hate you anymore. His eyes filled with hope. But forgiveness doesn't erase consequences. He nodded. I know, when I needed a father. You weren't there. When I had nowhere to sleep. You closed the door. I built my life without you. That's something neither of us can rewrite. Victor lowered his head. I deserve that. 6 months passed. Mom recovered completely. She moved into a small house just 10 minutes away from mine. She smiled more than she had in years. Every Sunday, she came over for dinner. Victor wasn't invited at first. He respected that. He never complained. Instead, he found a simple maintenance job, started paying off his debts, volunteered at a local community center, not because anyone asked him to, because he wanted to become a better man. 1 year later, Mom invited both of us to her birthday dinner. It was the first time Victor and I had shared a table since I was 18. Meal was quiet, no arguments, no bitterness. As everyone prepared dessert, Victor stood up. I want to say something. He looked at every person in the room. Years ago, I believed being strict made me a strong father. I was wrong. I confused pride with strength. He turned toward me. Mason, you became the kind of man I never was. When I came to your door with nothing, you could have treated me exactly the way I treated you. You didn't. You showed mercy I didn't deserve. I'm proud of the man you've become. Room became silent. I slowly stood up. I accepted your apology a long time ago. Today, I finally believe you meant it. The first time in over a decade, we shook hands not because the past had disappeared, but because we both understood something. Holding on to anger would never change. Yesterday, as I drove home that night, I remembered the 18-year-old boy carrying a black trash bag down an empty street. Back then, he thought he'd lost everything. He hadn't. He had only lost a house, not his future. Sometimes, the people who push you out of their lives end up teaching you how strong you really are, and sometimes, the greatest revenge isn't making someone suffer, it's building a life so meaningful that even the person who doubted you has no choice but to respect it.